So I asked a question recently on my social media platforms. I asked, what would you like to know about climate change? And shout out to Vitalis, who dropped some really great questions. So his first question says, why does climate change cause melting ice and rising sea levels? And I have answered that in my previous videos. So you too can also check it out. Then the second question says, how does climate change affect plants, animals, and the ecosystem? The third one says, what actions can humans take to reduce climate change and protect the environment? These are amazing questions. Thank you again, Vitalis. So we're going to answer the second question. How does climate change affect plants, animals, and the ecosystem at large? So we have established that climate change is a change in climate. It is basically a shift in long-term weather patterns. That means there is a change in seasons, rainfall, temperature, wind, humidity. And we all know that every living thing, including plants, rely on these climatic conditions to survive. This means that change in climate makes rainfall unpredictable. It might start late, too early, or fall too little for crops to thrive, or too heavy, causing floods. Sunlight becomes harsher. It causes heat on plants beyond the level required by plants. Humidity and soil moisture fluctuate in such a way that make it hard for crops to grow. These plants begin to wither and produce less than expected. This causes a shortage in the availability of food. And when there is a shortage, food prices begin to rise. This makes food unaccessible for the poor. This leads to malnutrition, affecting the entire communities. Now, moving on to animals, they are directly affected too. Grass-eating animals like cows, goats, deer struggle when plants die off. Of course, less food results to malnutrition, and malnutrition influences productivity. This lack of nourishment causes milk-producing animals to produce less milk, and this in turn impacts the prices and supply of dairy products. Extreme heat, on the other hand, can kill animals just like it does to humans. Wild animals in forests, savannas, grasslands are forced to move to new areas. This can lead to competition for food or even conflicts with humans. Aquatic life isn't spared either. Rivers and shallow lakes that often flow even in dry seasons now dry up completely. The entire aquatic life and food chain is disrupted, affecting communities that rely on fishing. What does all this mean for the ecosystem? When plants fail, crop yield is reduced, and this influences hunger and malnutrition. And it affects animals by destroying their homes, reducing their food, increasing heat and diseases, forcing them to either migrate or die. Climate change disturbs how nature works. It disrupts the natural balance between plants, animals, and the environment. It literally threatens life and creates cascading effects that impact humans too. That will be all for now. Thank you for staying with Oguze, and I remain Oguze Solomon, your environmental and climate activist, and most importantly, your moral cheerleader.